Yeah, so Ralph Sampson joining us on behalf of AT&T, the official corporate champion of NCAA. Ralph, one of the great college players of all time, of course, had his run here with the Houston Rockets. It's good to see you.
Oh, good to be here.
You look good. You look.
I'm trying to stay in shape somehow.
Do you play basketball anymore?
No.
But do you get to the point where it's a job? Like you just like I enjoy shooting basketball. But did you get to a point where you just don't want a part of it? You don't like doing it or the outlet?
No, the mindset, if you can't play like you used to play, so the mind will say, whatever, like my mind right there, just shooting those baskets, like I'm in Houston, I can play. Let's go play. Let's go play the NBA. I can score a couple baskets. I can get a couple rebounds, block a couple shots. But then the knees say different. So you're like, if I can't do it, I might well just let it go. I like to teach it to kids and stuff like that, but as far as playing, I need to leave it alone. Because then people challenge you, and then you got to go and say, let's lace them up tighter and let's get with it. And then next day you feel really bad because you're sore.
What was the recruiting process like when you were coming out of high school?
Oh, my goodness. First, I had a great high school coach that, thousands of schools calling every day. He put together a system. If you called, if you did these other things, we had the Ralph rules, basically. If you called a certain time, we X you off the list. So we had fun. The city of Harrisonburg, Virginia had fun. I mean, we had 2,000 or 3,000 people at some games every night.
Were you 7'4"?
No. I was 6'7" in the ninth grade. And I played on the JV team and I played on varsity at the end of that year. The next year, I was probably 6'10". It grew 3 or 4 inches every year. I was 7'1" when I left high school. And then I grew to 7'4" in college.
If you could have changed it to be 6'4" instead of 7'4",
I wouldn't change it for the world.
No?
No. I like being 7'4".
Really?
Love it.
What are the benefits now?
Well, besides, ducking under doorways and, airplanes, seats too small and stuff like that.
Get in a car.
Get in the car. You move your car back. You move your tracks back on your car, and the insurance says you can't move it because the airbag and all that kind of stuff, so you can't move the seat back. So you got those illegal things you do. So it's fun. But no, I just enjoy it. I tell people you can't hide 7'4". You can hide 6'4", but you can't hide 7'4". So you better be prepared to go out. And no matter if they know you play or not, they say you must have played basketball. How's the weather up there?
Yeah.
And did you ever play in the NBA? So, and then some people recognize you from a face that, oh, you are okay, great, but you don't look like that because you should be older. So they get all kinds of stories.
How famous were you in college?
How famous? Oh, I'm just Ralph. I don't know how that was.
But there was a buildup. I mean, you were a household name. Patrick Ewing and you, the rivalry there. Did you have fun with it?
I loved it. I mean, I had great people around me. I mean, I had a great high school coach in Roger Berge, had a great college coach in Terry Holland, and I saw my SID last night in Doug Elgin, and they had a great system. I said they had a room, SID office, maybe 500 square feet, and the next year we had a whole building. And so they took very good care of me at Virginia, and I had a good time with those people. So I had fun every day.
He's Ralph Sampson joining us here on the program in Houston. What's the one memory? What comes to mind if I say Houston and your NBA career?
Wow. A couple of things. One, being drafted by Houston and knowing I was coming to the city. Two, I was number 1. Roddy McCray was number 3. Great friend of mine. Saw him the other day. Flying on Lear jets here to the summit, which is now Joel Osteen's church, and having thousands of people there welcome us to the city was amazing. So still love this place. When I got off the plane on Wednesday, I'm like, I should come back here and live. It's a great city for me, and I just love the heat and the humidity, which most people don't like.
Well, you got a suit on here.
Well, I came from a Hall of Fame event, and so they just announced in their class. So
you're not sweating?
Not yet.
Oh, you will?
Not yet. No. It's not hot enough to sweat yet. Houston's not humid yet.
But the expectation level on a big man, we always expect more.
Yep.
From Kareem to you. It doesn't matter. Everybody, it's like you can't live up to the expectations because you're a certain height.
Yeah.
You ran into that too.
Well, any kid that's larger than most kids, you got to play basketball, or you should play basketball. If you didn't, that's a waste of height. So you hear all kinds of stories. Then if you play, the expectations are enormous because of the giants that played before. Kareem, 7'2", 37,000 points, greatest skyhook, greatest shot in basketball. How can you live up to those expectations that somebody already laid out? So if you don't have that standard, then guess what? It's not that big. And that's the only, I mean, you got point guard standards, Oscar Roberts and those guys as well. But if you were tall, you got to play basketball. And that's what this world is about. But we set our own expectations. I didn't expect anything more out of myself than what I wanted. Not worry about anybody else, what they expected. I expected the best out of myself every day.
You played against Jordan in the ACC, right?
Yeah.
So you saw him his freshman year?
Yeah, freshman year and sophomore year.
Okay, what did you, if I would have said to you at the time, you know, that guy's going to probably be recognized the greatest player of all time, what would you have said?
He was good. I mean, the only thing that the thing said, well, only one that ever held Michael Jordan down for scoring was Dean Smith, and so he couldn't score that many points. So I recall he played. I knew he was pretty good when we played down there. We get ready to win the game, and he comes up the court and he steals the ball from one of our point guards and goes down and dunks it. And I mean, the defensive ability at that point in time was huge. I think he played better defense in college, and learned the defensive fundamentals in college. And then the offensive stuff just blossomed in the NBA. So you knew something was special at that point in time, but you didn't know how much.
Best player you ever played against?
I got to go with the big guys. I think the best player ever is Bill Russell, with the utmost respect, 11 rings, if you going on championships.
Yeah.
But Kareem has got to be one of the best ever. I mean, he's an iconic player.
I think he's underrated, Ralph.
Well, I think he's underrated, maybe underappreciated. So.
And why can't we teach somebody the sky hook?
Well, Kareem, if you go back in history, he learned the sky hook because they took the dunk out of basketball because of him. You too big, nobody else that big, you can't dunk the ball. So he had to learn how to put it up that way. So Wooden and that whole crew said, okay, fine, I think it's just developed over time, and then he perfected it. And he can try to teach somebody, but it's not going to work. It's like down here in Houston, Hakeem Olajuwon trying to teach the dream shake to Dwight Howard. It doesn't work. Hakeem was one of the best ever. So everybody got their own little way to play, and everybody developed their own game.
Why can't big men shoot free throws?
Well, it goes back even to Wilt Chamberlain, right?
Yeah.
He couldn't shoot free throws. And one year he said, I'm going to shoot a better percentage, and he did. I was over the Hall of Fame with Shaq that's getting inducted today, and his hands are so big, and the ball is so small. It's so powerful. It's a different trajectory to the basket. So it's not an arch like the McDonald's arch. It's more of a straight line shot. You got to have touch. And some big guys just don't have that touch, and it's hard to shoot it.
But you had touch, but you only shot 67% from the line.
Well, I should have shot better.
But you had touch, though.
I had a little touch, but, it was at a softer touch maybe than some guys that are this size. But it's again, a different line to the basket. And sometimes it just doesn't, it doesn't work.
You know how many threes you had in your career?
Probably not enough. If I'd played today, I had a lot more.
Would you be a three-point?
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, but I don't want my 7'4" guy on the perimeter.
I played.
Would you be like Porzingis?
You mentioned earlier, I played with Manu Bol in Golden State with Don Nelson.
Manu could shoot the three.
Manu could shoot the three. So you imagine, I'm 7'4", he's 7'7". Only guy we looked up to. And so he was good. But we could shoot the three at that point in time. So I probably wish the game was different today because of the pick and roll. And then the spread of defense. So you would have to learn how to shoot a three. And they say my game was maybe before its time. So I would have shot quite a lot more.
I agree. You made 10 threes.
I did, not many.
Yeah, I mean, that's a Steph Curry great night.
Yeah, a great 10 out of 10 for sure.
And I know you're representing AT&T.
Yes.
I don't know if you need to have a plug there or anything to add with that other than
AT&T is good. We called and doing some stuff today, this afternoon as well. So AT&T, what a company. Glad to be a part of all this, especially on your show. I watch you all the time, and just having fun in Houston at the Final Four.
It's great to see you, Ralph. It is. And we played, I think, the highlight of you with that turnaround jumper when you beat the Lakers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
How much luck was involved in that shot there?
Well, I'll tell people. So we came out of a very grueling 7-game series with the Denver Nuggets. And me and Hakeem actually had fouled out, and our bench had Craig Elo, Granville Waiters, Jim Peterson, and some guys, Rodney McRae, that won the game for us. We go into Los Angeles, we lose the first game, like really bad. And then we win the next 3. And I tell Magic all the time, I said, he's like, Ralph, you got us on that shot. It wasn't a shot. We'd have beat you anyway because we were coming to Houston. You were going to lose anyway because we were coming home. But Rodney McRae said it wasn't a shot, it was his pass. So I give all the credit to Rodney McRae.
And I was in Boston when you're facing the Celtics with the whole Jerry Seasting thing with the fight. And
yep.
I mean, that crowd was, the Garden was pretty tough on you, Ralph.
It was tough, but I went back home and got my 2 weightlifting coach that were with me. They both were 300 pounds. One guy named John Gamble, actually is the weight strength coach for the Buffalo Bills now. So I brought them in, and they went with me because the hallways, don't come to Boston, we're going to kill you, we're going to do this or whatever.
You got death threats?
You got a few threats, but we played anyway, so it was all right.
Did you ever talk to Jerry Seasting about that?
It's funny. I was coaching in Phoenix a couple years ago, and we never really talked about that incident, but I was a play development coach, and they had gotten rid of all the coaches but me at that point in time, and Seasting was one of the new coaches coming in. So they said, we can't really have y'all got any animosity between each other. I said, that's 30 years ago, so whatever. I said, but if he throws another elbow, I will take him out. I will take him out. So it's just the way it goes.
Hey, great to see you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you
Appreciate
for coming by.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.